Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
And I'm Andy.
Today we're going to be talking about a whole heap and lot of movie news happening in the world. First of all, we're going to talk about Christoph Waltz has a directorial debut entitled Town. That's exciting. Also, J K Simmons is going to team up with the man who made Angel Has Fallen with Gerard Butler to make a STX a college football movie. And then finally, Indiana Jones 5 is on its way with a spectacular cast and absent Steven Spielberg. Also, just to reiterate, when we do these lives, we do also introduce each news source over again so that we can clip it out when we actually put these on YouTube. Also, we are available on YouTube and all of the podcasting platforms on demand as Kinetic Impressions. I am sipping on tequila and I'm already slightly drunk. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
And today we're going to be talking about Christoph Waltz, that man we all love to hate sometimes in movies, has got himself his directorial debut in a film entitled Georgetown. I'm going to read a little bit of the article here from Collider.com. Paramount has just released the trailer for Georgetown, Christoph Waltz's directorial debut. The film stars Waltz alongside Vanessa Redgrave and Annette Bening in the strange true story of marriage, murder, and deception. The film will arrive in select theaters on May 14th and will be available on video on demand starting May 18th. Now, I do also have this New York Times article pulled up. It's called The Worst Marriage in Georgetown. It is a fantastic, fascinating read. And it's another one of these movies based on a New York Times article. Isn't that funny? Also, this article is also available beyond the paywall, so you do not have to pay for this article. It is a fascinating story of intrigue, murder. It's one of these stories that, it's about a man who's a gold digger who tries to rise in the ranks of socialism in a socialite world in Washington. Very fascinating. Drew, you watched the trailer. We can't play the trailer here, but sir, what do you think about Christoph Waltz's directorial debut here? At least the trailer itself.
Oh, it's interesting. I love me some Christoph Waltz. Anybody does, right? Like everybody
Absolutely.
should. I don't know why anybody would hate on this guy. This guy is literally lived an entire life prior to American acting in his own country where he rose through the ranks and he finally got his break here. And now he's just doing the best he can with it. So for him to finally be directing something, I'm excited about it. He's been with some of the best over the last couple of years, and so it can only mean good things, I think.
For sure. And I actually really like this story for him. Christoph Waltz has made a career of playing scoundrels. You know, he always plays sometimes the villain, sometimes, honestly, his most notable roles have always been the villain. And he's just really good at playing that kind of conniving, twerpy kind of person, right? And in this trailer, which again, I can't play it, but it's really fascinating, right? It tells the story of a man who finds someone who is down on their life. So the crux of the story is that this woman, who is a very wealthy woman, her husband dies, and then Christoph Waltz enters her life, constantly nagging her for a date, constantly nagging her for an audience. And then eventually what happens is, and tells you in the trailer, but also in the actual article, that this woman abruptly gets murdered somewhere and somehow. And of course, he becomes a suspect, and this becomes a tale of murder and intrigue. And I really like that for Christoph Waltz. And I'm very intrigued to see what he can do with the story as a director. I've never seen anything of, he's never written anything. He's never actually directed anything. So it's fascinating to me to see a first-time director and them do something new, you know? I also really like the aspect. I really like Annette Bening too, man. I haven't seen her in a lot of stuff in a long time. I
Right?
really, really like Annette Bening, man.
Right? Like the last thing we saw her in that was major was American Beauty, it felt like. But I'm
Yeah.
sure she's done smaller stuff here and there, but I don't remember her being in much, right?
Absolutely. She, at least not lately. She definitely does the Oscar fair stuff, all the time. But
Oh
for
yeah,
sure, she has not done something like this, something like a thriller in a really long time. And she's a really fantastic actress. There are a lot of things in the 90s that she's really good at. And actually, there's a lot of things in the 90s that she does as a comedy that's really, really good as well.
yeah.
Um,
And
I think
we saw her come back in Captain Marvel. Like that's the last time I actually saw her, and it had been a while since I've seen her in something that was like that notable. I don't know, like that mainstream is what I'm trying to say.
No, for sure. And it's really refreshing that we're gonna see her in something like this because I think she can really nail some of this like kind of
Mm-hmm.
like just really like thriller aspects, but she's also the one in the cat and mouse game where she's trying to figure out if Christoph Waltz murdered her mother. You know what I mean? I really like to see that aspect of them too,
Speaking of
and then together.
Christoph Waltz, did you see that that video that was circulating? It circulates every couple of years of him like in Austria doing like a children's program in like a unitard.
No, I have not heard of this. But
Uh,
I will find a screenshot if it is available to
I
find
shared
on
it
the
with you.
internet.
I actually shared it with you in the document. If
Oh,
if you want
absolutely.
if you
I
want to look
have the
at it,
document pulled up here. Is it here? Let me refresh here to make sure it's in there.
yeah, you
Here
could just
it
like
is.
you should watch a little bit of it, maybe pause it, and then like show it on put the little screenshot on there or like whatever you pause it in. It's quite funny. So like I think the premise is like Chris while you watch it like Christoph Waltz is like doing some kind of New Year's program for I could be
Oh
for
my
kids.
God.
I don't understand the language, I guess. So he's doing some children's program during New Year's for kids in a like rainbow colored. Yep, there it is, rainbow colored unitard, and he looks young. He looks like Michael J. Fox young in Back to the Future, doesn't
Oh
he?
my God. Look, yes, he does. He does look like Michael J. He really does. Oh my God, look at him.
And he
He's
does
still
that
got the
little.
mannerisms.
I know he does the little curtsy. Look, there he goes doing the curtsy, and then he talks, and like he has. I don't know, man. It's just. It's so
God,
fun to watch him.
1977, bro. 1977, bro. That was fucking like almost like a solid 15, 14 years before I was born. This dude was on
Yeah,
TV. And is in Austria. This guy's been acting
that's what I'm
forever.
trying to tell you. Is like he's been acting for a solid, for a solid
Longer than I've been alive.
career. Yeah, he's had a solid career in his home country, and then when he finally broke it big here, he's just trying to take and do whatever he can with it, and I respect that.
Absolutely. Dude, big shout out to Inglorious Bastards. We reviewed it. Fantastic
Always.
film.
Hmm.
Fantastic movie. Love that movie to death. Um, gave us the prowess of Christoph Waltz and the ability that he has. And I am just super excited for his directorial debut. I hope it's good. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think actors can make fantastic directors because everything falls on them. And like the clip you just showed me this man has been in the movie business, at least in the acting business, for so long
Right.
that I mean, what could go wrong here? It looks like a fun cat and mouse caper. I love the premise, and I'm all on board for this. I also definitely check out the article.
And definitely, I mean, like Christoph Waltz is made his career here by being a villain. Even like he is one of the most vicious characters that you can see on stage. He just knows. He
He
knows how to
does.
like take in that persona, and I love. Just there was like a line in that trailer that said something like, "You don't want to be a servant all your life, do you?" And he's like, I don't. And I was just like, and it turns some kind of like fun loving kind of crime thriller into like something psychotic very quickly. But I mean, like not actually psychotic, but you know what I mean. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so into this and I love his characters and when he plays a really good villain, it's so nice. Cuz he has this quality where he seems like a very unhinged person, but also a guy you can like hang out with and have a good time with, right? It's this like underlying just kind of sinister growl that he has within his characters, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally interested in this and all of this. I do want to shout out that I forget if this tells us who the director is, but let me just make sure. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the guy who did this is the guy who did Proof and The Lake House. So kind of a storied Oscar-y kind of guy. His name is David Ubern.
Okay.
Sorry, he's the guy who wrote it. He's the guy who wrote it, right? He's the guy who wrote it. So he does these kind of like, kind of highbrow movies that are a little bit like more Oscar-y and stuff like that. But I like that he is a guy who is a storied writer who is helping a very, very fresh director in Christoph Waltz. So 100% think that the right people are in place to do this good. And I'm excited, 100% excited, man.
I mean, like he did do a story that we've talked about here on Movie News with our storied actor turned director Elizabeth Banks. He did do that Charlie's Angels script. So like, let's hope it doesn't pan off to Charlie's Angels.
Did he do that? Okay, well, we will see. Honestly, I've never seen that movie, so I can't poo-poo it too much.
He actually wrote this screenplay before Charlie's Angels. So.
Oh, really? He wrote this screenplay before Yeah, because Christoph Waltz has been attached to this movie since 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see what's up. What's up.
Like I'm looking at it. Another credit of his is The Lake House with Keanu Reeves, which I think was a good movie. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
I believe it did all right. I believe it did all right.
I'm just saying, like, me personally, I thought it was a good movie. Proof was a good movie.
Yeah, Proof was totally good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there was other people at fault in Charlie's Angels. Maybe the writing wasn't at fault, but who knows? I like when you watch like Arnie, when you watch a movie and you review it, you're like, this writing was fucking terrible, or it was like, we gotta credit the writing when the credit for the writing is due.
Yeah, I could definitely pinpoint some bad, because you can tell sometimes in a movie when like the actors are fucking bringing it in a terrible script, or the director is fucking doing everything he can with terrible work, or when the writing is the one thing carrying this whole thing and the director just doesn't know what's happening and kind of just fucking filming things, or like when everything is great but the actors kind of suck, which is what Tom Cruise does. Tom Cruise knows how to pick writers and directors because he's not the best actor.
Right. Right. But
just things like that. But let's digress. Let's digress.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz, directorial debut. Hopefully it's a good one. It looks like a fun movie. It looks like a fun caper. Looks like he's gonna be deliciously sinister like he always is. So let's hope. Let's hope. All right. I think we did it, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Please like, comment, share. Let us know what you think about Christoph Waltz's new directorial debut. Please check out the trailer. It's fantastic. Check out the article. I will link it to the video and or the podcast you're linking to so you can read it yourself. It's really fascinating. New York Times does some really good fucking stories, and it's great. Also, what other kind of thing do you think Christoph Waltz would be good at directing? If that's something you think would be good, for sure. All right. What do we always tell the fine people there on the internet there, Drew?
Go watch a fucking movie.
Go watch a fucking movie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. All right, end of that story. I'm going to take a little bit more of my tequila, and we're going to move on to the next story. This is a fun one. Let me make sure I got my IMDb stuff put up here just to make sure that I have all of the people things in place. All righty. All right, here we go. Ready to rock, my man?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
Today we're going to be talking about a film called National Champion, which will also have my man, the myth, the legend, J K Simmons. And this is a movie about college football. I'm going to read a little bit from the article here from Collider.com. After first working together alongside Chadwick Boseman on the action thriller 21 Bridges, Stephen James and J K Simmons are returning for a college football movie, National Champions, which is getting its game face on at STX Films. In a change of pace for him, Rick Roman from Greenland will direct from a script by Adam Mervis, who adapted his own play of the same name. That's right. This sports drama is based on a play. That's not really the STX model, but the play actually sounds pretty interesting. From the play, National Champion examines the big business of college sports as the story follows a star quarterback, James, who ignites a player strike 72 hours before the biggest game of the year to fight for a fair compensation, equality, and respect for the athletes who put their bodies and health on the line for their schools. I love everything about this. In the same vein of Any Given Sunday,
Whoa. Let's not. No. Let's not give it that acclaim yet. Not
no,
yet.
But you're in the vein. I'm not saying it's the same kind of movie.
Yeah. No, you just hit me. You hit me hard because it's one of my favorites, man. I
got you. But this is not your Remember the Titans, okay? This is not your Invincible, right? This is a little bit more on the controversial end of the sports spectrum. It's in the same je ne sais quoi of that movie when it's talking about the business, the raw business of football, and how it affects its players, how it affects the people around the players, and all of that together. I love that aspect because look. A side note, sports fan thingy here, college sports players of any kind, of any ilk, get the short end of the stick so much. Colleges make so much money, billions of dollars on the backs of just football players. And I'm glad that this story is going to be told, and I'm happy that something like this is going to happen. And I want to talk about a little bit about the director as well and J K Simmons in general. But Drew, what do you think about this story? What do you think about this movie, kind of in general?
Oh, dude! I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited just because of the main actor. The main actor comes from. I'm excited for all the same reasons you are. It sounds like there's a good motive for this story. First of all, this sounds like something that would be mainstream. I remember when Concussion came out with Will Smith. Will Smith was kind of like carrying that with the NFL, so that like they would post, that they would show something that like something's been done for the players, but I don't think it was like widely received. Like, I mean, not many people watched it. It wasn't a big movie. It wasn't a blockbuster movie. So if we can make something that's like a blockbuster movie that shows what football players go through day in, day out, and what they put their bodies through, and everything you're saying, I think that'll go a long way. This guy that you have right here on the screen, Stephen James, is that what you? Is that,
that's Stephen James, yes.
Or Stefan, maybe it's Stefan. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But he's been in a lot of good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like just what's right there on the screen is he's played Jesse Owens in Race. He played John Lewis in Selma. He was co-starring with Chadwick Boseman.
He played John Lewis?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and he was he co-starred Chadwick Boseman in 21 Bridges, and he carried an amazing movie in If Beale Street Could Talk. What a beautiful underrated movie that was all over the Oscar nominations. If not last year, 2 years ago, I believe 2 years ago. And so this guy's no rook. You know what I mean? Like he's not been, it's not his first rodeo. He has been in and out of great movies so far. And to put something like, I'm already thinking like just putting something like J K Simmons next to him and getting a whiplash performance from J K Simmons as a coach and a Jesse Owens in Race performance from Stephan James. I think it's going to be some magic working there.
Absolutely. I haven't seen many of these movies. I saw Selma for sure. I don't know if I remember him in it. but this guy it has a stout career, and
Sure.
I think he is poised for sure for some greatness here. Um, and like let's also the gate, of course, you put the nail on the head here. J K Simmons, him and J K Simmons together, I think I think like those two together, the acting prowess, the chemistry, if it is there, if the chemistry is there, this is going to be a fantastic acting powerhouse itself. I just want to kind of go back to the story here. It is about like they give us the premise right there. It is about the biggest game is coming in 72 hours. The players are on strike. That drama just feels like it is rich for some incredible storytelling. And I'm really excited for that. I do want to talk about a little bit of the director here. His name is Rick Roman. Now, he hasn't done like Oscar-y, kind of these like big budget, contentious movies. He's done action films, just, kind of raw, real action films that are actually quite good. Like Angel Has Fallen was a decent movie, and actually a lot of people feel was one of the best in the series of the Has Fallen series as well. But I also think that the acting in his movies are really good. I think Morgan Freeman and Gerard Butler bring it in those movies. He also did Greenland. Greenland was a critical success. I don't know if it did really well, but it was a super critical success. I forget exactly what it was about, but I know it was a massive disaster film. So this is a director that is not only used to bringing really good performances out of his actors, but he's also really good at doing action. And I'm really interested to see what a good action director can bring to a football movie. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that. I mean, if you just scroll down, his number one thing is actually stunts. If you look at his credits for stunts, is like the biggest thing he's credited for.
You're right.
Including like the first thing I saw was Gone in 60 Seconds, which is like the third thing down. I was like, this guy's been in, and like he's been in movies since like the last one I noticed was, I don't know why there was stunts in Flowers in the Attic. Which is like,
oh my god,
really fucking weird.
That is hilarious.
You know what?
I know exactly what that movie is about.
Flowers in the Attic.
I know exactly what that movie is about.
Dude, that's his third movie credit. Look, scroll up a little bit. Oh, no, right there. You just passed it.
Yeah, right here. Oh, Flowers in the Attic.
Flowers in the Attic stunts. And I was like, what stunts were in the attic? I mean, like, Jesus.
You'd be surprised, bro.
But he has amazing credits of like Lethal Weapon 2, Days of Thunder,
Tango Cash,
Rapid Fire. I mean,
Universal Soldier. I love that movie.
Yeah, like there's a good amount.
He's
so like
been around.
He's going to bring the action. What I really like about what you just said though is that he wrote the screenplay to Angel Has Fallen. So a lot of the success that Angel Has Fallen got was because he wrote and directed that movie. So when we say in this podcast, which is often, that like we really care about the people who end up directing films because they're the guys who've been in the thick of it the longest and have been there the most. This guy obviously has done stunts for movies since the 80s. He's been in the thick of it. He knows what's going on. He knows what falls on what department. And so, like, to see him write a screenplay and have that much success, he's written stuff, here and there, but like, I think Felon was not like that bad of a movie either. I don't think it like made too big of a name for itself, but
no, but I've also heard really good things about the acting in that movie as well. Because that's the thing, he has really good actors in these movies for sure.
He has action movie actors, which is crazy. Yeah. And like we've talked about it on this podcast before, is that like Gerard Butler was holding this genre by himself. Like he was literally like he's been carrying this genre when we're not talking about Fast and the Furious movies. Like Gerard Butler has this type of like this like what's left of the MI5 kind of type like action style that we remember from the Mission Impossibles. He's that guy. Or I actually put it more of like what we remember from the Steven Seagal movies kind of type thing. Like this guy's gonna take it on his back, because like the James Bond movies, that genre is always gonna try to be there, and I mean not in these times, because the James Bond movie keeps getting pushed back for 10 years, but
It's happening.
I mean, like, that genre is always going to exist as a big blockbuster movie, but the smaller action movies that Gerard Butler's been famous for, he really took to another level. He took to from a straight to DVD level to some people are going to actually watch this in theaters, so we should release it.
100%. Yeah, and I think bringing that's kind of the reason why I even brought up the Any Given Sunday reference to it, because that was directed by
Oh my god, that movie's so good.
It's so good. It was directed by Oliver Stone, right? If I'm not mistaken, Oliver Stone directed that. So Oliver Stone, very
insane.
like, yeah, you know, like, yeah. It's such a genre movie, but the actual football action of that movie is like set in a dark stadium. It's raining most of the time, and the hits, you can feel them. It's because Oliver Stone directs like usually political thrillers, but he directs political thrillers with action, especially back in the day.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for someone who never played football in any kind of major capacity, it really, that darkness kind of really sets tone to like what the field actually feels like. It does feel like that in the bowl of the stadium, in the down on the
Yeah,
turf.
100%.
Because like like we look at it and it's all like, we see it on TV and we see it white balanced and we see it all nice, but it is really down and like, it's just down and dirty, gritty football. And I really loved what Oliver Stone did it. But the cast for Any Given Sunday had real life football players all over it. I mean, Jim Brown and Lawrence Taylor, some of the greatest people, were in there. Jamie Foxx actually played high school football in Dallas. So
Yeah, 100%.
He's a Dallas native. Shout out to us, or shout out to Arnie, who lives in Dallas now.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Jamie Foxx like took that persona. He took it a little too seriously. I just because we're talking about Any Given Sunday, my favorite mode of Any Given Sunday is that he took it a little too seriously and punched LL Cool J, because he thought he was like a method actor. And he punched LL Cool J, and LL Cool J was really pissed off, and like they actually started fighting. And Oliver Stone's like, "Keep rolling, just keep rolling. We're gonna get this."
I'm gonna watch that movie again just because you said that.
And I'm like, oh my god! Like when I heard that story, it was just so like I love everything about it, and it's early Cameron Diaz, Al Pacino. I mean, it's a good movie. So like that's why it's like when you breathe it, like when you just breathe the same words,
Yeah,
in any kind of sports movie, it just means it's gonna. I find this movie, Any Given Sunday, as important to as the same importance as Training Day was to cinema. Training Day kind of changed the evil guy, and changed like the way we do. Without Training Day, we don't get Heath Ledger's Joker. I don't know why I think that, but like I just don't think we might have gotten the same thing, because it changes that kind of like evil villain mindset to be like, this guy can do stuff. I mean, he's just because you're a villain doesn't mean you can't be creative, and and have a meticulous process to everything. And I was like, I don't know.
no, I totally get what you're saying, because like a really good villain is one that truly believes he is doing good.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what Denzel Washington brought to that character.
Yeah, and so like think of like that kind of context, but with a sport, because that's what it feels like in Any Given Sunday. The whole time it feels like they think they're doing good, because they are trying to win for their team and everything, but it is far from it. You know what I mean? They have to sell their souls, risk their bodies just to get the thing they want the most. And that's what Any Given Sunday really showed us.
Yeah, and that's it's 100%, and that's the whole reason I was bringing this project in the same ilk.
Yep.
No, I hope with the director bringing that kinetic energy to the screen is going to be fantastic. I want to see J K Simmons and Stephen James really be together in scenes and have that chemistry. I think that'll be fantastic. You mentioned Whiplash. A J K Simmons band director Whiplash being a coach to Stephen James's quarterback, like that in a movie directed by the guy who did Angel Has Fallen. It just sounds so good to me. I'm so excited for that aspect.
And it's not like we had to be given Whiplash. Like, I'm sure, if Whiplash didn't exist, we would still be saying, like the character he played in Spider-Man, like, can you imagine? Like, what's his name? What's the character's name in
he
Spider-Man?
Played Jonah Jameson, bro.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine Jonah Jameson coaching football? That's insane. Like,
yeah,
we would
dude.
just still be like excited about it.
100%.
Because it's J K Simmons. But yeah, man, I'm excited because J K Simmons has just done. He was really good in 21 Bridges as well. I think that's where he was, right? He was.
He was in 21 Bridges as well. He did that with Chadwick Boseman, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm all excited about this film. I really want to see it. I love every aspect about this. I'm really super excited. We should definitely review it when it comes out for sure. But yeah, I'm totally super excited for this. The concept is incredible. I think the story definitely needs to be told. College athletes go through a lot, and they do not get the recognition financially that they truly deserve. And that is this movie is pointing a light to that on the big scale. And I think that's important. It's important for pop culture to recognize that about college sports. And I'm ecstatic that the people behind this movie are behind this movie. I'm really super excited for that.
Hey, Arnie, hold on, man. I'm gonna let you finish, but I just want to say something real quick. Chad Boseman, is the best male. He should have won the best male Oscar. I just want to interrupt that. He should have won best male actor in the Oscars.
100%.
In Kanye fashion, I just wanted to go ahead and interrupt you and say that.
For sure. Chadwick Boseman, who was snubbed in a very spectacularly underrated and very strange Oscar ceremony last night. But yes, should have won Best Actor, didn't. They thought he was going to. This is why the actual Oscars was kind of weird this year, for sure.
I mean, I've never seen an Oscars that ended in we will accept the Oscar in his behalf. Bye.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, like it was just so awkward. He's like, we're gonna accept the award on his behalf, and then like just walk off the stage. That's the end of the Oscars. Are you serious? Like,
yeah, I mean, they wanted to end it in a big fanfare for Chadwick Boseman because he had actually won a bunch of other awards before, so they thought that maybe he was the one who's gonna win it. So they kind of like set up the Oscars. They actually introduced Best Picture first, and then did Best Actor last because they kind of felt that was going to happen, but it didn't. Kind of side note, Anthony Hopkins was asleep during the Oscars, so he didn't zoom in to do because it was like 4:00 in the morning where he lives. But he actually did do an acceptance speech today, and in it, he did give a shout out to Chadwick Boseman, and was like he was a fantastic actor. Definitely left us too early. So big ups to Anthony Hopkins. Don't have anything against Anthony Hopkins. Fantastic actor. He did a fantastic job in the movie that he won. But yes, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%. All right, my man.
Yeah, I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We are Kinetic Impressions, available at every podcasting platform known to humanity. We've been doing this for a year. We've also got a ton of content on our podcast. It is also called Kinetic Impressions, available anywhere podcasts are podcasted. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what other what what other J K Simmons joint you would like to see in the future. Maybe J K Simmons doing more band stuff. Maybe he can be a gym teacher. Maybe we could get a J K Simmons dodgeball movie. That would be fantastic. Or maybe even J K Simmons being a civics teacher turned tennis coach. I would love to see that as well. All right, my man. What do we always tell the human beings of the internet, Drew?
Go watch a fucking movie.
Watch a fucking movie. All right. That is done for that one. Let's move on to the next news story. Let me cue that one up. All right. Let me just make sure I get my P's and Q's correct. And all right. Let's do this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
And today we're going to be talking about Indiana Jones 5. It's happening. It's coming. However, absent one notable human being, Steven Spielberg will not be back to direct this movie. In fact, James Mangold of Logan fame will be directing this film. Now, there is no word on the script, no word on what is going to take place in the movie. I will read a little bit from this article from Collider.com. Plenty of other familiar faces are returning behind the scenes, including John Williams, the legendary film composer who scored the previous 4 Indiana Jones installments. Producer Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall are also returning. Indiana Jones 5 will be the first in the franchise not directed by Steven Spielberg, though he will join John Kennedy and Marshall as producer. Spielberg opted to pass the torch to a different director last year, and rumors that Mangold was being considered as early as February. When Collider spoke to Marshall last year, he told us why Mangold was the perfect choice to take over. His love of the franchise. He's a wonderful filmmaker. I think he also has a relationship with Harrison. It has all of the right pieces coming together at the right time. He went on to add that Spielberg was still involved. We've got the best of everything. So, again, not really clear exactly what this movie is going to be about. I will speak about James Mangold and his prowess as a director. But my man, Drew, what do you think about the fact that Spielberg is not coming back?
I mean, it's just it's a dark year for cinema. First of all, I mean, it's obviously, or literally, it's literally been a dark year.
Literally, yes,
and
absolutely.
And it is, metaphorically a dark year. But I mean, it just goes to show you, man. It's the passing of the torch, and I don't think this has. We were talking last week about the Rocky films and stuff like that, and the passing of the torch from Sylvester Stallone to our heartthrob in the Creed series. And so I mean, that alone is just kind of showing you that studios are ready to do these films with or without the people that kind of created them. And I don't know. I hope it doesn't speak for the quality that we get, but I think it's going to definitely say that it's going to be a different film, for sure. What do you think of this cast, man? I like this cast.
This cast is incredible. The breadth of cast that is in this movie is pretty. So the main characters that we have here, we have Mads Mikkelsen and is it Phoebe Waller-Bridge of Fleabag? Yes, absolutely wonderful actress, and Mads Mikkelsen, also another incredible actor as well. We have, of course, Harrison Ford returning as well, and I believe that's all we know at the current moment. But these actors are really good actors, and they're really Mads Mikkelsen plays an incredible villain. He always plays the villain. He is perpetually tied to being a villain, but he is a wonderful villain. Plays a great villain in the first of the current generation, James Bond.
Yes.
Now one of my favorite of his roles, of course. I love that. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, it speaks to the script of how good it is, why they're bringing in such good actors. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. You know what I mean?
Did you know did you watch Solo Story by any chance?
I watched a little bit of it. I actually kind of fell asleep during the last half, but I did watch a lot of it for
You
sure.
know, like L337, the robot, Childish Gambino's robot.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's Phoebe Waller Bridge.
No shit. That's fucking
Yeah,
hilarious. I
yeah.
do love her comedy, man.
I
She is
just think
hilarious.
I think it's funny that she's the robot in the Solo story that doesn't have the old Han Solo, and now she's gonna work with the old Han Solo.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She worked in the Harrison Fordless uh, Solo movie and Han Solo movie, and now she gets to work with him. But no, I love Matt. I was gonna mention the James Bond thing. I thought he did. Mads Mikkelsen does an amazing job as being the villain. He was very creepy in the Hannibal series. He was great in Doctor Strange,
Oh,
which
that's right.
Doctor Strange is one of my favorite movies for some reason in that Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it's a great standalone film, and he's an amazing counterpart to Stephen Strange. And I think he does such a good job. Crossing my fingers that he comes back in some other Doctor Strange movie somehow, even though he's been defeated. But
Yeah, no, for sure. He's just like we talked about Christoph Waltz in another story,
yes,
and just like Christoph Waltz, Mads Mikkelsen brings this kind of gravitas to a role, especially when he plays a villain, where he plays a very sinister villain, but also kind of a guy you can have a drink with. You know, it's like it's this very charismatic persona that has this like air of like intrigue and like very sinister prowess floating beneath the surface that is just really fun for sure.
yeah, and
I,
like just like we can think of like specific scenes with Christoph Waltz. You think of specific scenes like you always think of the ball buster scene in the James Bond series with him and Daniel Craig. Like
yeah,
that's always one of the most sinister scenes that you think about. Or the Casino Royale table. I mean, it's the same movie, but like when he's at the table with the eye.
for sure. No, you know, we don't even know what he's gonna play. We don't know if he's gonna be the villain or something like that. I mean,
Right.
I mean, he looks like a Nazi. That's a lot of that's like half the villains in all the Indiana Jones movies. Let's talk about James Mangold, my man. I love James Mangold. The first movie that I watched of James Mangold is 3:10 to Yuma, which is
Ooh.
a fantastic Western flick, of course. And since then, he's gone on to do some fantastic films. Walk the Line, fantastic biopic, and Ferrari versus Ford, which just came out, really fun movie, and of course Logan. Logan. He also did, I think, the one before the Wolverine movie before that. I think as well. He did. This guy has been rising in the ranks of doing movies. You know, kind of Oscar baity movies, but then he's also gone into genre stuff with Logan as well. The thing that James Mangold brings to a film that I just really love is his ability to bring in character pathos into character action, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah.
So like Logan for sure. Logan and also 310 to Yuma. If you've seen that movie, it's really good. He and of course Ford versus Ferrari. There are these moments in those movies where the main character, our protagonist, has to make a decision about what to do, and those moments are always so fraught with just incredible amounts of thrill and pathos that then inform the action that the character is about to take. In Ford versus Ferrari, it is the moment where Christian Bale decides to go back in the race and go forward with this plan to just be part of all the Fords in the race instead of winning the cup. In Logan, it's the moment where Logan realizes he's about to do everything and let it all go and die for the future and the future generations. His ability to bring out the just pure acting prowess of his protagonist is incredible. And I want to see an Indiana Jones movie with that kind of prowess to it. I want to say that I love Steven Spielberg. I think he's one of the greatest directors to ever live, and I think he still has good movies in him. He has not done the Steven Spielberg thing with movies in the past 10, 15 years. I don't know what it is. I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that I've said this before and I'll say it again. Being surrounded by yes men
Yes, man.
really, really kind of takes down your ability to be a creative on an upper echelon. I think that's what it is. I don't want to say anything else about that because it doesn't seem that he has any less ability as a filmmaker. He does these big budget movies, but his last Indiana Jones film fell flat. His last big budget Hollywood film, Ready Player One, I still really like. It just didn't move forward for me in the way that I think his other films have. I just haven't seen a blockbuster in a blockbuster Steven Spielberg movie do the things that a Steven Spielberg movie does in a while. And I am just really, really like thrilled and excited that James Mangold, a filmmaker of our generation, a new filmmaker of our generation who's done really good films, is able to come to do a big budget blockbuster like Indiana Jones. I think his work in 310 to Yuma, which is a really good, fantastic Western film, coupled with his work and character work with his other films of late, really gets me excited for an Indiana Jones film, which, in of its essence is it's a period action movie. That's what those movies are. And I'm just super excited and ecstatic to see him deliver that in this world, man. I really am, for sure.
I love your excitement. I think you're right on a lot of those aspects. I think Jonathan Kasdan can do a good job. But when I look at the what's written in front of me, I don't believe it's going to happen. I have to be the antagonist in this.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope 100% I'm wrong. But the way I look at Jonathan is that I think he does better when he writes his own thing. I think it's hilarious that the guy who directed the Wolverine wrote and directed Logan, because those were two different fucking films. Those were two different films, and the one, and I can't, like, no one will ever believe they're directed by the same person, because one was totally hated by some of like the fans, and one was totally loved. And the only thing that makes me nervous, I'm just looking at it, is that Jonathan, I'm sorry, not Jonathan, James Mangold,
James,
is
yeah.
who I'm talking about. I apologize. James Mangold is really good when he writes the screenplay for what he's directing. Ford versus Ferrari is that really cool, like, it's that really cool, like, breaker of that ice. But
Yep.
like, can he do a repeat? Because I loved and 310 to Yuma. So, like, it's been done. I loved Walk the Line. I think Walk the Line was a great, fantastic movie. I think it has a very similar character turn in it as well, when he's gonna stop, like, when he's going to stop and he sees that, like, it's kind of similar to Attack the Block, when he realizes what he's been doing to others, and it's no longer just affecting him, it's affecting others around him. He wants to be the bigger man, and I love that he writes, like, he kind of directs that in such a clean way in everything he's ever done. Even Girl Interrupted, which had a fucking phenomenal cast early in his career. Did you ever watch Girl Interrupted?
I've watched it before. It's been so long since I've seen it, though.
But I mean, like, that had Jared Leto, Jeffrey Tambor, Whoopi Goldberg, fucking Angelina Jolie, Winona Ryder. I think Jolie won Best Supporting Actress. She won an Oscar for that movie. So, like, he's been there, man. He's done it, and I hope he can, like, do it again. Where he gets shaky is, like, these writing credits. That's why I kind of mistakenly said Jonathan Kasdan earlier, because, like, I don't care for his writing credits. Like, I hope he can write a good movie, but, like, I don't think the dude that wrote, I don't think the dude that wrote the Solo story, the one that we were just talking about, and some episodes of Dawson's Creek, and like the only thing I see that he's done to me that's like was good was an episode of Freaks and Geeks. So like, why are we putting this guy in charge of a screenplay? Like, that's scary to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, why not?
Yeah,
why not just give it to the guy that you like? I mean, like, I like James Mangold. Go ahead and give him the screenplay. Don't give it to this other kid.
No, for sure. I totally understand that. And you're totally right in everything you said, for sure. And in the one thing, I hate to fucking say this, but I feel it in my bones. I'm so happy Spielberg isn't doing this movie.
Yeah. I mean, like, at least we got that, right?
Yeah, and like like that alone like gives me a lot more hope for this. Like I don't know why, but like Steven Spielberg has made incredible movies lately. He just hasn't made blockbusters really well lately. They're just not catchy. They're not heartfelt. They don't have the nice ingenuity that he used to bring to film. I don't know what it is. Like I say before, it's the yes men thing.
Just when I thought I couldn't love James Mangold enough, do you see that he did the animation screenplay of Oliver and Company?
What? No.
He wrote the animation screenplay of Oliver and Company. Isn't that the movie with Aristocats? Wow. Like with the song and all that. Dude, I love this. This is funny.
He's been around, man. Yeah, no, 100%. That's like the one. Yeah, that's fucking funny. So he's been around with Disney for a while, which kind of makes sense why they would actually give him the reins of one of their biggest movies.
Well, Night and Day, I thought, like, unpopular opinion maybe, but Night and Day was actually a really solid movie, and I just don't think it was marketed well. Like, it was just like a weird. It was weird how they marketed it. They just kind of just threw it out there. We're gonna put Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz together, and like nobody wanted to go watch it. And I was like, why would y'all do this? Because I watched it, and it was kind of entertaining. It was like I think it was happening too much in Hollywood at that time, because I feel like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had the same movie come out like a year later. So
yeah. It was really inventive. I really liked his character too. I like that's one of the movies I like Tom Cruise's character in, because the whole crux of that movie was like Tom Cruise was playing an agent of some kind, and then Cameron Diaz was just basically a layman, just a regular person, and then Tom Cruise was just following her around, saving her life from all of these random acts of just like craziness, and towards the end it just became like apparent that he was actually the good guy, but you kind of were like, is he really the good guy or is he the bad guy that's following her around? It was a very inventive action film.
I always call this guy Edward Norton's evil twin, Peter Skarsgård.
Oh yeah. That's so true.
He just looks so like true. He just like, oh wait, when did Edward Norton start balding? Oh, I guess that's not him. Okay.
That's funny. No, you're so right about that for sure. No, you're totally right. I still have hope. I genuinely believe this is going to be better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I think I can say that unequivocally. And
that's not saying. I'm so sorry, but that's not saying much.
That's why I brought it. It's low hanging fruit. That's why I even said it. It's really not. That movie is so weird and bad. That movie is bad shit. It is oh my god, the last 20 minutes of that movie is just insane. But yes, I'm glad that Mangold is giving the reins of one of the biggest action franchises in history. And I am excited for this cast. I think it's going to be decent. I'm excited to see this. I'm more excited that Spielberg is gone. I've said that. I just am. It's just what it is. But yes, 100%. Anything else you want to say on this one, man?
Where did Shia go?
Oh, yeah. Shia LaBeouf is being Me Too'd left and right. That's what's happened to Shia. That's what happened to Shia. which sucks, man. Because I gotta tell you, man, like I really fucking had hope for Shia LaBeouf, man. I thought he was gonna be the next movie star of our generation because we grew up with Shia, bro.
Yeah.
We grew up with Shia LaBeouf. I
Digging
fucking
holes.
love Even Stevens, man. I
Oh, yeah.
love that show, man. And he was just a good comedic actor. I really liked him, but yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyway, I think we did it, my man. Please like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you would like to see in the next installment of the Indiana Jones franchise. Do you think Harrison Ford is too old to be playing this? And do you think he'll do anything at all in this movie besides just sitting down like he's been doing in all of his roles as of late? Again, we are available to all the podcasting platforms known to humanity. Also, YouTube channel Kinetic Impressions. Drew, what do we always tell the fine people of the internet?
Go watch Phoebe Waller. I mean, a fucking movie.
Go
watch
watch
a
a
fucking
movie.
movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been Kinetic Impressions Movie News. Have a good one. All right. I'm going to wait a little bit just to close it out. And we